Welcome to Aaron Plays. In this episode we're going to have a look at Falling Eagles, Waterloo 1815 by Hexasim. Earlier in the year I did a unboxing and a general impression of the game, and I did say at some point I would play one of the scenarios. Well, now is that point. So, oops, shut the camera flying. Okay, this is the box, and as I say, go and watch the preview, review, whichever you want to call it, look through the game and unboxing from our earlier episodes, but this is what we're going to be doing. And I'm going to be playing this opposed to using play by email on the VASSAL module. But I'm going to show you the components that I will be using in this scenario, and then transferring it over to the actual screen. So one of the things they did in this box, and to be fair, they've done it on a few of the other ones, is on the scenarios they've produced a reduced map, so you can actually play just the scenario on the actual play area that's represented. So in the box is the full game maps, but they've got these little scenario cards, so you can just play on this actual part. And generally the hexes are a little bit bigger, so on the other side there's the scenario 2, de Erlon, and on here, so we've got what we're going to be doing. I'm not absolutely 100% sure how to pronounce that, but Plancenoit is what I'm going to be going on. Plancenoit is what I'm going to be going for. So that's the map. That's be the full play area, but I'm saying we'll be doing it on VASSAL. Now, the victory conditions for this scenario are based on this exit. It says hex G, which is this exit here. If the Prussians can exit 3 units off that road by the end of the game, they win on automatic victory. So at any point in the game, they exit 3 units off there, they get an automatic victory. Or it's based on these stars. There are 4 in the Plancenoit and 3 others. The side with the most control of those at the end will also win the game. The French will be setting up just a little bit east of the village with 6th Corps, and there are some French reinforcements coming in around here, which includes units from the Imperial Guard. The Prussians will be starting sort of just about this area here. You'll see once we I show it in the other place, and with mostly 4th Corps and the 2nd Corps arriving where that star is, the reinforcements. And this is actually shown on this actual map here, which is a setup map for just this particular scenario. And these numbers and letters relate to the setup chart, which has all the units where they start within 1 hex of such and such a letter and such forth. So these both have to be referred to place the units on the actual map ready to play. And they're all good cardstock. You get obviously a terrain effects chart, and on the other side of that is unit designation, so you know what's what. There's obviously the charts and tables, the melee table, fire table, and all the modifiers. There's also a playbook, which actually has the details of the scenario, which we'll go through before we actually play, and then the latest iteration of the actual core rules, which is, unless there's done another update since I've got this, October 22, so it's 11 months old, version 2.3. But most of these rules are quite solid now. There's the occasional change which is highlighted, and we're talking half a sentence, a couple of words, or even just a word. So the rules are quite tight now. So that's what we're going to be playing the scenario, but we will be playing it on VASSAL. Let me just give you a quick look at what that looks like. Hold on there. So that's with all the units set up on my computer screen. The charts and tables and such forth will be on the lower screen, but that's the setup there. What I will be doing is using Zoom to actually record directly from the screen rather than use my handheld, because if I did that I'll probably be knocking it flying all over the place, which might create a little bit of hilarity, but yeah, not too. And you know, I can zoom like this, I suppose, but if I'm actually honest, it might be worthwhile at the time to there's my mouse, zoom in on the counters there, and I can zoom in quite some detail on the units. So that's it, everything ready there. I will now go through the setup and yeah, probably start the first turn. So this is the screen. This is what it looks like in detail. So as I said, we've got the French 6th Corps and the Guards ready to come on, and we have the Prussian 4th Corps and the remnants of 2nd Corps that actually did fight at Ligny. 4th Corps didn't. We have Bluchen Command von Bülow in charge of the actual Prussian 4th Corps, and Pirich, is it? Pirich in charge of the 2nd, Mouton in charge of the 6th. Doesn't seem to have a commander for the Guard. Presume that they can activate without a commander. The Prussians will begin the battle. We're determining who and what command to use. These guys will be coming down the road. These guys. So there's 2 commands, and there's no end of turn die roll. Each command on the field will get 2 activations. Now, going through the actual special rules for this scenario, which is, as I say, scenario 3. The duration is 4 turns. That's 6 p.m. through to 9 p.m. There's no weather involved. Gone through the setup. The Prussian plays the first player to activate. As I said, there's no end of turn check. The 2 Prussian formations have a geographic order to hex G. Hex G is the road that they want to get off, which is that hex there. We'll just double check that. Yeah, it's off that hex there. So that's where their orders are towards. And the French Guard units are considered to be within command range and automatically activate when selected, even if their lead counter is not used, and have a geographic order 2+1. So there. In other words, they can only move within 3 hexes, or it might be 2, I don't need to double check that, of that location there. So no Imperial Guard charging towards Havre here. And then orders cannot be changed, and there's no tactical cards in this either. So it's a straight as you see it as we get. So as we went, automatic Prussian victory of more than 3 Prussian units exit the West Edge map over there. And if no automatic has been achieved by the Prussian player, we determine the winner using victory points, which are those 7 points that we want. And 4 VPs are needed for a win. So the French have them all at the moment. So there's 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. So yeah, losses do not count. I think this is going to be a straight slugfest by the looks of it. But this is a good game for getting me back into the system. It's a while since I played the system. And it's also a while for Mark to have played the system as well. So as I say, we're going to be playing by email. So we'll do my turn, and then we'll do his turn. I will finish off what I can do. So I've got to activate a formation first. So I'll probably try with von Bülow. Activate him, move all his units, do all his firing. And then when it gets to come to where defensive fire, I will then end the log and pass it on to Mark. So he will then do his defensive fire and then send it back, and I'll do the assaults, the melees and such forth. We both agreed not to use the dice that comes with VASSAL. The reason being, we have seen a tendency for it to roll low on one dice and the direct following dice is high. Low, high, low, high. And if you're doing things like firing and both players are using the same bot, that can cause a few issues, because especially if you get a good roll on the attack, on the fire roll, the opponent's morale roll, it's going to, and I say it's not every roll, but the dice bot is trying to make the best, or to make sure that the result is even. So if you roll low, tendency is the next roll is going to be high. And if you've rolled a good fire shot, the other guy's going to roll high, and it doesn't really make for, well, we played it once and it absolutely completely ruined the game. When we were actually play testing the full Waterloo game, it completely destroyed it. So we've played the Austerlitz game together, and the dice did have that tendency, but because there were so many rolls, it's sort of in the end, I suppose it sort of balanced out. So what we're going to use is the dice from the automated card tracking system, AXE, because that makes a roll, emails the opponent what the roll's for, and it seems to work quite nicely. So that's the die roll mechanism we will be using in this game. Okay, so I've just set up the automated card tracking systems die rolls. I've also just started a log file, so we are ready to begin. So it says turn 1, and it's 6 p.m. on the 18th of June, 1815. Okay, so this is the Prussians. They get to activate first, but I still have to make an activation die roll. Now, normally in the sequence of play, you'd have an order phase, no orders. First player determination phase is defined in the scenario that the Prussians always have the ability to go first. So in the activation, I'm going to try and activate Van Bulow, and to be able to activate him, I have to roll a 9. So I'm going to actually just put this on here. You guys won't be able to see it, but Mark will. So there'll be a subject to here, which will be Bulow activation, and he will get an email of this, and so will I. Okay. So Bulow's rolled a 5. Okay. And that means he is now activated. His entire corps. Anything within command range of 6 on this particular scenario, on this particular actual game module, it's 6. So off they go. Everyone's in. Okay, so when you activate, each player in one formation of turn. During the activation, you've got to start with any firing. So I will have one shot. I'm going to choose, now does this work on this? It doesn't. Now I'm going to fire from that unit there to that unit there. So that is a range of 1, 2, 3 hexes. Now, when it comes to firing, let's just check line of sight there, make sure there's no actual, hit the right button. Okay, so line of sight's fine. Okay, so it's 3 strength points. Now, when 3 strength points fire, there is a 3 points or less. There is a +1, less than 4 strength points firing, and also it's 3 or 4 hex range, and another +1. So it's +2 to that shot. So I'll need to send a message of that, record. So when the unit fires, you place a I'll just move this counter off so we can see what it is. A 5 plus 3 movement points to leave. It makes it harder for unit. It slows down movement through that hex because it's taken time to fire. Anyway, that shot resulted in no effect. Okay. Do I want to do any other preliminary shooting? Yeah, I think we'll try. There's no artillery in this hex. No. No, just this hex here. So firing from there to there. Okay. That's going to be another at the same kind of shot into that's 4th Corps, 14th Artillery. Okay, we've got to work out a method that we can do this a bit quicker, but that shot fired, rolled a 9, so no effect there either. So I think that's the preliminaries. So let's get into some movement. I'm going to be launching an attack down here. It's hoping to cause a little bit of disruption, or shaken, or even routing, but nothing to do. So now that's going down a slope. Slope going down, I don't believe there's any terrain effects. I will check. Slope moving upwards +1. So 4 movement points. You've got the amount of men in the unit, quality, and movement points. That's 1, 2, 3. Can't get around into here, so it's 3 to there. Okay. Now the question is, do we want to bring some cavalry into this action? Which we can. Cavalry's got a movement of 8 into this action. Okay, so we can bring the cavalry in, but it will not get the automatic, well, it's within 1, 2, 3, 4 movement points. So it can do full charge, get the charge +2 benefit, but it won't get the flanking benefit because the infantry didn't start adjacent over here. But let's go for it. So 1, so these are declaring a charge. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can we get another cavalry on unit involved in that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we can. We can get, there's 8. Let's get another 6. Cavalry's not, morale's not great, but hey ho. 1, 2, 3. Don't know if I can go through infantry. I'll go to double check stacking. It's stacking in effect all the way through the actual turn, or is it only at the end of the turn? So let me just double check that. So many different games have different ways of doing it, and I can't remember. So let me check. Stacking is checked at the end of movement and the end of the retreat advance, so that cavalry unit can go through there. So we don't really have a better quality unit. The cavalry, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 14 steps of cavalry going in there, and I am going to use, as a reminder, that we do have the +2 bonus on that. Where are all the counters? Okay, well, there doesn't seem to be any markers for that, so not very good. Now we need to attack this unit because I also want to bring something in extra on this guy. So let's move those 2 infantry there. 2, 3. And we want to get some form of assault onto Mutan as well. Which would probably be, yeah, these guys. 1, 2. I want to develop the situation here by bringing up the big guns. So that's the first attack that's going in. I'm not going to be doing any major attack here. But as I say, I want to bring up some artillery. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So ready for the next activation of Bulav's Corps. Now the stacking limit is 30 stacking points, strength points. Artillery and cavalry are worth double. However, you can always stack 2 infantry or 2 other counters plus an artillery. Hence why in this hex the stacking limit is slightly violated. Slightly. So it's going to cost 3 movement points because of that fire to move out of that hex. So effectively this infantry can move 1. And the stacking artillery must always be on top. Okay. Cavalry. Want to get some infantry into this hex to protect those guns. One, 2, 3, 4. And artillery on top. 1, 2, 3. So it doesn't cost 3 extra movement points to move into this hex, to leave, so they can enter there. Technically, the gun could even move 1 hex forward, or can it? I think if they fire, they can't move. Oh, that's a memory thing. Okay, moving these guys forward. 1, 2, 3. Now this is a road. Do they get bonus for moving on roads? Against all other terrain types for movement, if moved along, you can move 2 road or 1 trail extra if whole movement along and no entry and enemies under control. So they can move an extra 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. There's not a lot of space for maneuver. It's board, but 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. We do want to leave avenues of retreat as well. Well, Doesn't look like that's going to happen too eagerly, does it? I'm going to bring Blucher into the fray. He was always keen, and he was a keen cavalryman. Let's get him involved in that charge. Why not? And that just leaves us artillery. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The actual stream, because I'm not coming along the road, so is there a cost for that stream? That's 4. We've done 4. Remember, there's no problem with stackings at the moment. 5, 6, 7, 8. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That'd have been the easier way to do, wouldn't it? Going back on that cavalry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I didn't do it, so yeah, I think I do need to bring that back in. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Redo. Okay, so where are we going to put Boulot? I still want to keep this all under control. So let's bring him in here. Put some artillery there. Not enough space for all the artillery. But 1, 2, 3 there. At least we're building up some form of reserve. Okay, so that's my movement. I now need to mark where I'm actually attacking. So we have melee markers that will have that on there. Can we rotate that? Oh, no, we can't. Bit silly. All right. If we can clone it. Okay. Yeah, that's the only thing I can do. My opponent will see that. How bizarre. They've stopped the actual units turning. Okay. That's it, ready to go. So it'll now go to mark. I don't have any other markers I can use. So I'll just put it in the text. Let me just pause there for a moment. Okay, so we're over to the defensive fire phase. I will now pass this back to Mark, who can then proceed with the defensive fire, any subsequence from there, and then we can go on into my actual attacks with those that actually can get in. And I will stop the share at that point. Does that bring me? It does bring me back in. Whoa, am I still recording? I think so. So, well, that's a start. A while since we played, rules are going to be a bit rusty. That's why we're playing a small one. We'll eventually, hopefully, we'll build up to Grand Battle. Hope you enjoyed what you've seen. You know what to do. If you've been watching YouTube a while, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already, because it all helps the channel's promotion on the nasty algorithm. And then any comments, as always, much appreciated. So until next time, let me get ready to press the stop button. Bye, Internet.